You're under arrest for the murder of William and Hilda Stone.
Everything is going according to plan.
These tests can't be right. Run them again. I can't be.
Lori, I can't do this. I can't let you get hurt.
Jacob, if you keep trying to get Nyla out, you might end up in there with her.
The Stone Empire is crumbling.
Your family got her into this, Jacob. Fix it.
Jacob, what are we going to do?
We're gonna fight like hell.
Say Less I Love You, Season 4, Episode 4.
Chapter 323, Trixa. I can still hear my father's press conference echoing in my mind, each syllable laced with ice. Hours ago, he stood behind a podium, brandishing proof that Nyla murdered William and Hilda Stone, spitting out so-called facts I know he manipulated. Now, well past midnight, I'm pacing the confines of a one-bedroom apartment I'm using as a hideout, one of my father's own safe flats, ironically turned against him. A single table lamp throws out weak yellow light, barely cutting through the shadows in the living room. Outside, the hum of distant traffic pulses through the city night, muffled by blackout curtains I yanked shut the second I arrived. Each time I pause by the window, I replay Marcus's triumphant sneer on camera. Nyla Thomas is a cunning predator, and I have the evidence to prove it. That damned line. That same line that might consign an innocent woman and her unborn baby to a living hell. I stop near the couch, pressing my fingertips to my temples. 2 days ago, I confronted Marcus about his twisted vendetta. He threatened to disown me if I revealed his manipulations, and worse, he threatened my safety. "Keep your mouth shut, Trix," he'd snarled, "or I promise you'll regret it." I can still see the contempt in his eyes. He'd tossed in a parting shot, too, letting me know Nyla was pregnant. Something about the triumph on his face when he said, "Imagine how humiliating it'll be for her child, born behind bars for murder," turned my stomach. I inhale slowly, scanning the tiny apartment. I chose it for the minimal risk of detection. No personal belongings, no posted address linking back to me. There's almost no furniture, a dingy sofa, a table, an ancient TV. Normally, I'd feel claustrophobic. Tonight, every locked door and drawn curtain gives me a sliver of safety. On the flimsy coffee table sits my father's laptop, which I stole from his main office suite. Next to it is a battered file folder stuffed with printouts and memory sticks. The biggest find? A single USB drive I discovered tucked behind faux-coded directories. I don't fully understand all its contents yet. Some raw camera footage from the Stone Estate's security logs, plus a suspicious trail of bank transfers pointing to the entire car sabotage story being rigged. I recognized the Stone Hospital insignias, transaction references, and then the corresponding forged proof my father pinned on Nyla. The puzzle pieces snap together in a horrifying pattern. If I can confirm it's authentic, it might blow his framing scheme wide open. I brush my fingertips along the USB. My father has gone too far. I played along at first, feeding him intel and helping him with some of his schemes for our family. But then he escalated, forging that funeral wreath receipt, tampering with toll booth footage, spreading vile rumors about Nyla. I thought it would end there. Then his press conference changed everything. He paraded his false evidence for the cameras, crowing about it. Now Nyla's set to stand trial within days, pregnant and alone in a cell. A child could be born to a mother in an orange jumpsuit, because of me. Guilt weighs on my chest like an anchor. My phone buzzes, blocked number, probably my father's men again, or Marcus himself. My stomach twists. Enough. I stab the silent option, ignoring the call. I'm done listening to him. If I do nothing, Nyla and her unborn child might be doomed. My breath catches. I'm no saint, but I refuse to let an innocent baby start life overshadowed by a murder conviction that might not be real. I turn away from the phone and sink onto the couch. My next step is clear, even if it terrifies me. I have to get the evidence to someone in Stone Hospital's circle. Jacob's too publicly hounded. I can't just hand him a USB in broad daylight with paparazzi breathing down his neck. William's dead. Hilda's gone. That leaves Derek. a quiet power behind stone operations, a longtime family friend. He'll keep things discreet and pass it on to the right people. Maybe Margaret Ross, Nyla's lawyer, or the press if needed. Reaching for my second, older phone, the one I bought from some random electronics stall, with no link to my personal line, I type a message with shaking fingers. It's time. Meet me at the parking garage on West Pine and 5th. 1 a.m. Come alone. This is about Nyla's case. I tap send to Derek's number, half expecting no reply. Maybe he lost the phone or he's asleep, but within seconds my phone vibrates. I'm ready. I exhale, steadying my trembling heart, then type, "Come now. Please trust me. I have crucial data like I said before, and I add a final warning. Marcus's men mustn't see you. 1 a.m., top floor of the garage." Then I shut the phone off so no signals can be traced. I force myself off the couch, rummaging for a black hoodie and sweatpants to disguise my usual style. Next, I unzip a duffel bag of precautions, a small pistol, courtesy of years in my father's household. I hate the thought of using it, but I'm no fool. If Marcus suspects betrayal, he might already have watchers tailing me. I tuck the gun into my waistband, shuddering at how surreal this is. This is insane. But it's the only way. Gathering the laptop, the USB, and a few crucial printed documents, I stuff them into a slim folder. Everything inside might be Nyla's salvation, and my guaranteed condemnation. An hour later, the multi-level parking structure looms like a concrete beast under the glare of street lamps. Its top levels are typically empty at night, a perfect spot for clandestine meetings. My battered sedan crawls up the winding ramps, headlights cutting through the gloom. I deliberately chose this old, generic car, bought under a false name months ago. Marcus's men might look for my Mercedes, but not this. I reach level 7, the topmost area open to the sky. The fluorescent lights overhead flicker, sending jittery shadows across rows of empty parking spaces. The city skyline rises in the distance, shimmering. My nerves prickle. I can almost feel watchers lurking. Or maybe it's paranoia. I steer into a corner spot near a concrete pillar and kill the engine, letting silence envelop me. The clock reads 12:56 a.m. 4 minutes early. My eyes roam every corner. Empty. No sign of Derek yet. A swirl of wind rushes through the open edges of the garage, echoing off pillars. I pull my hoodie closer, resting the folder on my lap, forcing steady breaths. My father's voice creeps into my thoughts. "Don't forget, you owe your life to me." That old refrain from childhood. I clench my jaw. I'm done letting him bully me. I can still see his smug grin at that press conference, brandishing forged documents. The memory sparks fresh anger, the same anger that fuels me to risk everything tonight. Finally, headlights break the darkness. My body tenses. I slip the gun from my waistband onto the seat, hidden under a sweater. A black sedan eases up the ramp, pauses, then inches forward. Fear clenches in my gut. Is it Marcus's men? But I spot Derek behind the wheel, wearing a baseball cap, his face tense in the dash lights. He parks a few yards away, cuts the engine. Neither of us moves for several seconds. I gather my courage, stow the gun, cradle the folder, and push open my door. Head low, eyes darting, I see no other vehicles. Overhead lights lend the place an eerie glow. Derek steps out, shoulders hunched. He has a plain jacket and dark jeans, his hair hidden under that cap. "Trixa?" he calls softly. His voice is laced with worry. "Are we alone?" "I hope so," I answer, keeping my voice down. "I've been up here a bit. Haven't seen anyone. But let's not waste time." He nods, glancing around. "What the hell is this about? You sure you didn't lure me into some trap?" A faint, wry smile tugs at my lips. I can't blame his caution. "No trap. I just have, well, evidence. Stuff that might blow open the case against Nyla. She's innocent, Derek. I can prove it." He narrows his eyes. "Big claim. Margaret Ross has been digging for weeks and—" "Look," I say, exhaling. "I know I haven't been on your side. I kept quiet, even helped my father sabotage the Stone family once. But I swear, I changed my mind after I realized how far he'd go. especially once he found out Nyla's pregnant. He's forging footage, bank transfers, everything to ensure she rots in prison. Enough's enough. A breeze whips my hoodie. Derek studies my face, reading the desperation. Finally, he steps closer. So, you're turning whistleblower? You want me to deliver this to Stone's legal team or the press? I nod, swallowing hard. Yes, the data on this USB, plus these printouts, show how Dad manipulated toll booth footage, paid off a witness, and orchestrated false evidence. If experts authenticate it, it'll shred the prosecution's case. They'll see Nyla was framed. Derek whistles under his breath, eyeing the folder in my arms. If it's legit, it could exonerate her. Why me? Because I trust you more than some Stone Board members or even Jacob's inner circle. Most of them are under scrutiny, hounded by the media. You're known for being quiet, resourceful. You can slip it to Margaret or handle it discreetly. I can't risk giving it directly to Jacob. He's swarmed by paparazzi. He hesitates, then extends a hand. Let me see. I pass him the folder. He flips the top sheet, scanning lines of code and transaction logs, half in confusion. This is definitely beyond me, but I see Stone's logos, suspicious timestamps. If it's real, it might be the missing puzzle piece. Trixa. This could exonerate her. That's the goal, I say softly. Nyla's unborn child deserves a chance at a normal life. I won't watch an innocent baby suffer for something it had no part in. He nods, compassion in his gaze. You're doing the right thing. We can still get it to the defense in time. The hearing's next week, but if we move fast... Footsteps echo, cutting him off. My body freezes. I turn, staring into the gloom at the far corner of the top level. A side stairwell door creaks open. Two silhouettes appear. My heart drops. Dad's men. I recognize the stocky build of one. He's the enforcer who shadowed Marcus at the last conference. Instinctual dread slams me. Derek's breath hitches, the folder clutched tight. We have company? I manage a shaky whisper. Yeah. Marcus's watchers or enforcers. He must have known I'd try something. My pulse pounds in my ears. We can't be seen or the data's lost. They'll kill us, Derek. He scans for exits. No quick way out but the ramps. If we get in the car, they'll see us. The men fan out, scanning the parked cars. I lock eyes with Derek. We hide. Now then, we head for the opposite stairs. We duck behind a nearby SUV, dropping low. My heart thunders so loud I'm sure it'll give us away. The overhead lights cast patches of white across the concrete. I peer under the chassis, watching the men's feet moving between cars. Each step sets my nerves on fire. My phone vibrates in my pocket. I scramble to silence it, cursing my forgetfulness. The men pause. One lets out a suspicious grunt. Did they hear that? I hold my breath, gesturing to Derek that we should make a run for the far side while they're still searching the center lane. We inch forward, painfully slow, hugging the shadows. The enforcer's footsteps close in, scanning row after row. My lungs burn with tension. Then a scuff of a shoe. One of them steps from behind a pillar on the left, his gaze locking on us. He sees us. My stomach twists into knots. Stop, he barks, raising a pistol. Hands up. I freeze, mind spinning. The second man appears from the right, blocking the stairwell exit. Derek presses closer protectively. My own gun digs into my side, but fear floods me. I brought this. Am I actually prepared to shoot? You traitor, snarls the armed enforcer, recognition flaring as he sees my face. Boss said you might try something stupid. Give us that folder. Now. The weapon glints under the flickering fluorescence. Derek's jaw tightens. Don't do this, he warns through clenched teeth. You have no idea what's in here. Shut up, the second enforcer snaps, stepping forward. Hand over the documents or we'll drop you. The echo of his boots pounds in my chest. My father's voice rattles in my head. Don't betray me. The realization that I already have betrays me in a physical wave of terror. The men are armed, and they can't let me leave alive. They can't let Derek leave either. If they succeed, Nyla's evidence disappears. Derek weighs the situation. 2 guns, 2 men. Slowly, he lowers the folder to the ground. "All right," he says. "Take it." They advance, but he lunges out of nowhere, slamming a kick into the first enforcer's wrist. The gun jerks upward, firing a deafening shot that ricochets off a concrete pillar, sparking. I gasp, adrenaline surging. The second enforcer curses and rushes in, but Derek twists, driving an elbow into his chest. The folder skids away, pages spilling. I dive for it, heart pounding, scooping up scattered papers. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the first enforcer recover, fury in his eyes. Gunshots echo again, muzzle flashes searing the dim garage. I shriek when a bullet pings off the floor near me, throwing up chips of concrete that sting my arm. Derek and the second man wrestle for control of the weapon. The first enforcer is striding toward me, gun aimed at my center mass. "Stupid girl," he snarls. "You had to cross the boss?" Time seems to slow. My fear crystallizes into cold resolve. I'm done letting Marcus terrify me. If I let this man shoot me, or shoot Derek, everything is lost. My hand grips my hidden pistol. I whip it free, my teeth clenched. The enforcer's eyes widen as I fire. My bullet catches him in the shoulder, spinning him around. The recoil jolts my arms, almost knocking the gun from my grip. He staggers, letting off a shot that shatters a parking lamp overhead. Glass rains onto the concrete. Derek lands a savage blow to the second man's throat, grabs his pistol, and knocks him out with the butt. The first enforcer crashes onto his back, bleeding from his shoulder. He tries to lift his weapon again, but a rush of terror and desperation takes hold of me. My second shot, I'm not even sure I meant to pull the trigger, hits his chest. The explosion of sound reverberates in my skull. He goes still, eyes blank. I freeze, gun trembling in my grip. Oh God, I shot him. I killed him. He doesn't move. Blood pools across his torso. "Trixa!" Derek's urgent voice snaps me out of my paralysis. He's kneeling by the second enforcer, who's clearly unconscious. "We gotta go. The next shot might bring more of them, or the cops." He grabs my arm, seeing how pale I am. "Come on." I stare at the lifeless enforcer, horror clenched in my chest. "Is he... I didn't mean..." My voice is raw. I've never wanted to kill anyone. I was aiming to disable him, but adrenaline and fear have a mind of their own. "Trixa." Derek's tone is harsher this time. "He was about to kill you. You had no choice. Now we have to leave or we're next." Tears blur my vision. I force myself to yank my eyes from the corpse and scoop up the scattered documents and USB. My entire body is shaking, but I cling to the knowledge that if I hadn't shot him, he would have ended me and the evidence. I follow Derek, weaving between cars. I fumble my gun back into my waistband, numb and trembling. I've taken a life. Now Dad will never stop hunting me. The hiss of rotating overhead lights, the acrid smell of gunpowder, it all hammers at my senses. In the distance, I hear sirens. Are they coming here? We only have moments to vanish. Derek leads us to the far edge of the level. We peek over the low concrete wall, 7 stories up. The ramp is too exposed, probably swarming with danger any second. My heart thuds painfully. "This way," Derek gasps, spotting a smaller door marked stairs. We bolt toward it, and I hear a faint groan behind us. Maybe the second enforcer stirring. My stomach clenches. I picture him raising a phone, calling for backup or taking a final shot. Derek yanks the door open, nearly dragging me through. We stumble into a narrow stairwell, the stale reek of concrete closing in around us. The door bangs shut behind us, but it won't hold long. Sirens scream closer, or I might just be imagining them. My ears are still ringing from gunfire. We race down flight after flight, footsteps pounding the stairs. By the second level, Derek carefully opens the door. The ramp there looks empty. We hurry behind a row of cars, heading for an exit sign. My mind buzzes with the enforcer's final stare, with the guilt. I'm sorry. I had no choice. We slip through a side door and out onto a quiet street. The city lights press in, neon reflecting in puddles left by a recent drizzle. We're half running, half hiding in the gloom. My entire body trembles, adrenaline spiking and crashing. I keep the folder clutched tight. After a block, I brace a hand against a grimy alley wall, panting. I can't believe that just happened, I whisper. The weight of the gun in my waistband feels impossible to ignore. Derek stands at the alley's mouth, scanning for suspicious vehicles or cops. We have to keep moving, he says quietly, though urgency crackles in his voice. Marcus's men or the police will be looking for us soon. Let's find a safe place for you. I'm on the verge of tears again. I don't have a safe place. Dad's network is everywhere. He'll label me a traitor the second he finds out, and that man, I try to swallow my panic. I'm a fugitive, aren't I? Derek's expression softens. At least for now. Come with me. I have a friend who can hide you. He's off the grid, not tied to Stone Hospital in any obvious way. Then tomorrow, I'll get this folder to Jacob's lawyer. We'll set the record straight. Marcus won't be able to bury the truth. I grip the folder, tears threatening. All right, I manage. Let's do that. Regret and dread tear me apart. I shot one of Dad's men. Dad's going to know. But if that's the price to save Nyla's baby from prison, I can't let myself break down. Not yet. We emerge onto a slightly busier street, blending into the sparse crowd. A battered taxi passes, and Derek flags it. I slide into the back seat, pressing close to him so the driver doesn't notice my shaking hands. The folder is practically glued to my lap, sweat gathering at my temples. Derek murmurs an address, pays in cash, and the taxi pulls away. The city lights blur by, neon streaks on glass. My father's shadow looms in every reflection. He's going to unleash hell on me. I hold the folder tighter, reminding myself why I've done this. That child deserves a future without steel bars. Eventually, the cab turns onto a quieter residential street. Derek hands over some bills, and we step onto the sidewalk. I hug the folder, scanning for suspicious cars. None. We walk to a small townhouse next to a vacant lot. It's dark and unassuming. Almost there, Derek whispers, leading me around the back. It's quiet. No SUVs or men with guns. My relief is shaky and fragile. We hover near the threshold. I turn to Derek, my voice hushed. When Marcus hears what happened in that garage, he'll want me dead, won't he? I shot one of his men. Derek meets my eyes. We'll protect you. Stone Hospital has resources, and Jacob or Alexander can help. This friend of mine is completely off-grid. I nod slowly, swallowing my fear. I'm sorry you got dragged into bloodshed, but thank you for helping me find a chance at redemption. The word tastes strange, but it's all I have. He gives a small, sad smile. We can't change the past, but saving Nyla and her child is worth any risk. I press my lips together. Let's just hope this evidence is enough. My stomach knots with guilt. And I hope what I did, it really was self-defense. Derek's voice is firm. Absolutely, don't torment yourself. I manage a nod, inhaling raggedly. All right, let's see this through. And I mean it. We step inside, a cramped living area filled with stale, dusty air. Derek's friend is nowhere in sight, probably asleep or lying low. I place the folder on a rickety side table, ignoring the tremor in my hands. Derek rests a comforting hand on my back. Try to get some rest. I'll handle the next steps. We'll watch the news for any story on the parking garage or your father's response. I nod, though my mind's racing. Tomorrow, let's get this to Margaret Ross. If all goes well, maybe Nyla will be free by the time her baby's born. A flicker of hope lights Derek's face. That's the plan. He glances at the phone in my hoodie pocket. And Trixa, maybe ditch that phone for good. We can't risk them tracking it here. Grimacing, I pull it out. My screen shows a slew of missed calls from a blocked number. Marcus. With a trembling hand, I switch it off. Then I rip out the SIM card and snap it. No more contact with him. Outside, sirens wail in the distance. My stomach churns at the thought of paramedics at the parking garage, discovering the body I left behind. He was going to kill me, I remind myself for the 1000th time. I had no choice. Soon enough, Marcus will know I've turned on him violently. A chill racks me. I sink onto a threadbare couch, burying my face in my hands. Every time I close my eyes, I see the enforcer's dying stare. I'm sorry, but you gave me no choice. Guilt or not, I crossed the line tonight and I can't go back. I've stolen my father's secrets, killed his soldier to keep them. From the next room, I hear Derek whispering urgently into his phone, probably to one of the Stone's trusted contacts. He sounds tense but also determined. He's promising them we'll get the data to the right people, maybe first thing in the morning. Relief washes over me. We're so close to dismantling Marcus's entire scheme. A single tear slips down my cheek. I let it fall. Shock, remorse, fierce resolve all tangled together. I've chosen my side now. I'm no longer Marcus Swan's pawn. I'm a hunted traitor, but maybe one who can save Nyla's child from a lifetime of injustice. Derek finishes his call and appears behind me. I take a steadying breath and glance over my shoulder. He manages a reassuring half-smile. "We'll move at dawn," he murmurs. "Get everything to Margaret Ross. And, Trixa, I'm proud of you. You risked it all to do the right thing." I nod, my throat tight. I just hope it's enough. My voice cracks. And that man in the garage, it was self-defense, right? "It was," he says firmly. "Don't doubt it." I swallow hard, forcing my voice not to shake. "All right, let's see this through." Thunder rumbles in the distance, mirroring the storm I've unleashed inside my father's empire. And I feel the final severing of ties. I'm done being his dutiful daughter. I'm the woman who stole his secrets and killed his soldier to protect them. There's no going back. His men already found me once. Now I'm their #1 target. My heart hammers with equal parts terror and righteousness. If saving Nyla and her unborn child means facing my father's fury, then so be it. The lamp overhead flickers, my tense silhouette dancing against the wall. In that wavering light, I vow I will not back down. I refuse to see another innocent baby's life destroyed by Marcus Swan's machinations. If I have to pay in blood, or with the last shred of my old identity, then that's what I'll do. I'm not turning back.
I thought I was getting a fake marriage, but I didn't know my story was being told by Miss Tyler.
This isn't just any fake marriage now, is it?
No. You introduced me to the devil.
Come on, girl. Jacob isn't that bad.
Oh, I love Jacob. His family, on the other hand?
Beggars can't be choosers, Nyla. You should be grateful I even let Jacob Stone look your way.
I just wanted to save my granddaddy. Is that so bad? Why couldn't you let this be a normal fake marriage? Instead, you put me in a twisty story filled with money, betrayal, power, and lies.
Let's not forget love.
That's what keeps me going. But not gonna lie, Miss Tyler. This story you got me in ain't the simple fake marriage happy ending I thought it would be.
It's not. Where would be the fun in that?
Treat yourself to Say Less, I Love You. New releases every Thursday, now with longer episodes. Or skip the wait and grab the full series bundle from TylerWalker.com for up to 85% off. Treat yourself with Miss Tyler.
Chapter 324, Lori. I've always hated the stale hospital coffee at the end of a shift. Bitter, too thin, but this morning it feels like the perfect symbol of how I've been living, trying to swallow frustration, exhaustion, and a dull ache in my chest. I cradle the cup in my hands, sipping as I stare at my phone for the 100th time in 2 days. No messages from Alexander, nothing but the empty text thread that's become an unbearable reminder of his silence. I lean against the staff break room counter, swirling the last of the coffee. It's nearly noon. I finished a night shift in the ICU, bleary-eyed and emotionally spent. Usually I'd go home, shower, and crash, but a restless energy pushes me because Alexander hasn't responded to any calls, because I'm tired of the radio silence, because I know something bigger is going on with him, and I refuse to be sidelined. A coworker, Rena, steps in, eyeing me with concern. Lori, you look dead on your feet. Another rough night? I force a half smile. Rough enough. I'm done for the day, though. Heading out now. She glances at my phone clutched in a death grip. Waiting on important news? Something like that, I mutter, swallowing the urge to vent about Alexander to a coworker. Instead, I just wave her goodbye and slip into the hallway. My entire shift, I've tried not to think about him, about the fear that knots my stomach every time I recall the guarded tone in his last short phone call, almost a week ago. I'm fine, he said, brushing me off, but just busy. Then nothing. That's not the Alexander I know. Normally, he'd at least text a heart or a half smile or some nonsense about meeting me. The fact that he's vanished behind fortress walls of silence can only mean he's dealing with something dark, and he's decided to keep me out of it. No, not this time. If he's in trouble, I'm going to find out whether he likes it or not. In the hospital parking lot, the crisp winter air stings my cheeks. I tug on my jacket and unlock my sedan, but I don't head home. Instead, I punch the address to Alexander's townhouse into my GPS, determined. He might try to hide, but I know his patterns. If he's not at the estate dealing with family business, he'll be at the townhouse. I've been there enough times to feel the hush in its marble-floored foyer, the tension lurking in those corridors. I used to love escaping with him to that place, our private bubble. Now it's my best chance of cornering him. I drive off, weaving through midday traffic, annoyance fueling me more than the caffeine. My mind conjures every possible reason for his silence. He's messing with criminals again. Maybe the same old guard he dethroned is pushing back, or maybe he's in the hospital with bullet wounds. The thought sends a sharp pang of fear through me. I push harder on the gas. When I pull up to his address, I half expect to see black SUVs or security posted out front, but the street is deceptively calm, just a line of parked cars, a neatly trimmed hedge. I gather my courage, climbing out of my sedan. My heart races as I approach the gate, pressing the intercom. Silence answers. I press again. Still nothing. So I do something very not me. I climb the short fence, landing in the side yard with a dull thud. My pulse thunders in my ears. So be it. If he won't open the door, I'll break in. Crossing the yard, I circle to a back door. The handle's locked, of course. My nurse scrubs and sneakers are not exactly burglar attire, but I notice a side window cracked for ventilation. One I recall from nights we spent here. I pry it open, wiggling through awkwardly, cursing under my breath when I bump my shoulder on the sill. My dignity is in tatters, but my anger's too strong to stop. I land on the hardwood floor inside a quiet corridor, heart pounding. The place smells faintly of pine polish, plus that subtle cologne that lingers whenever Alexander's around. I stand still listening. Nothing. No footsteps, no voices. Alexander, I call, voice echoing, you better not pretend you're not here. At first, no response. Then a shuffle from a distant room. So he is home. I stride forward, adrenaline surging. Past the living room with its tall windows draped in rich curtains. Past the silent, gleaming kitchen. Finally, in the library near the back of the house, I see him, standing by a walnut desk, phone in hand, posture rigid. He wears a tailored shirt rolled up at the sleeves, revealing tense forearms. My heart stutters at the sight. He's so obviously on edge. He looks up, eyes widening. Lori? His voice is low, controlled, but surprise flickers across his face. Then it shudders into cool neutrality. How did you get... Don't even ask, I snap, crossing the threshold, phone clutched in my hand. Why have you been ignoring me? I've called, texted. God, I've left voicemails. He sighs, setting the phone down. I'm sorry, it's been complicated. I plant my feet. Complicated is not an excuse to vanish. Something's obviously happening with you, and I'm done being in the dark. You're acting like I'm a stranger or some incompetent child you need to protect by shutting me out. My voice trembles with anger and yes, raw hurt. He rubs a hand over his eyes. It's not that. There's a lot at stake. Things you shouldn't be involved in. That sets me off. Why? Because I'm just a nurse? Or because you think I can't handle your family business? Newsflash, Alexander. I know you took over from Ivan. I know it's dangerous. But you never cut me out so abruptly before. What changed? He exhales, looking away. Ivan was kidnapped. The admission punches the breath from my lungs. Kidnapped? His jaw clenches. Yes, and there was a bombing at one of our safe houses. My men found bodies. Ivan was taken by a faction or an enemy. We have no clue who's behind it, but it's bad, like war-level bad. He says it all in a clipped tone as if reporting on the weather, but I see the tension around his eyes. My anger wavers, replaced by concern. Oh my God, Alexander, why didn't you tell me sooner? Because I can't drag you into this. He slams a hand on the desk. The sudden noise jolts me. People are dying around me. If these kidnappers realize I have a personal tie, they could target you. I don't want that. I stare at him, chest heaving. So your solution is to vanish. That's not protecting me, that's punishing me, making me worry, making me think you just don't care. He flinches at that. Don't ever think I don't care. I care enough to keep you out of the line of fire. That's the only reason for my silence. You think this is easier for me, wondering if you're lying in a ditch somewhere? I can't do that. I want to help, or at least know what's happening so I don't lose my mind. He avoids my gaze, jaw working. Lori, please. I can't make promises. I might have to pay a ransom or step into a trap. It could end badly. The last thing I need is you caught in the crossfire. I take a step closer, anger rising again at his stoic detachment. You're acting like you're some emotionless machine. This is me, the woman you claim to want in your life. Or did I imagine all those nights you held me, told me you needed me? He inhales sharply, turning his head away. That was before this escalated. Now I can't do relationships or illusions. I have to be rational, to keep a clear head. A clear head? My voice cracks. Look at you. You're shutting down your emotions, trying to handle a kidnapping, a potential war all alone. That's not logic. That's pride. And it's hurting both of us. He remains silent, tension radiating off him. Something about that stoic facade infuriates me beyond words. I cross the library in a flash, grabbing his arm, forcing him to face me. I'm not leaving until we talk this out, so if you want me gone, you'll have to physically throw me out. His gaze snaps to mine, dark eyes brimming with conflict. Don't test me. I push him, frustration boiling over. No, I will test you, damn it, because I love you, or at least I thought I did. But if you're going to treat me like a stranger, then maybe we're done. He growls low in his throat, hands lashing out to grip my wrists. Don't say that. You don't understand? I struggle free, voice shaking with anger. Then explain. Let me in. I'm sick of your half-lies and protective walls. If you're going to push me away, do it to my face. He scowls, stepping back. Fine. The single word is laced with bitterness. I'm leading an organization where people die. Ivan is being tortured or worse. The kidnappers threaten to expose secrets that could upend everything, including my deals with the Stone Hospital. If I can't fix it, there'll be blood. I can't have you near that. End of story. That's not your choice alone, I retort, chest tight with fear. The intensity in his eyes makes my pulse race. I can handle more than you think. He laughs without humor, raking a hand through his hair. You can handle men with guns at your door? Bomb threats? Kidnappers who'll cut off body parts to prove a point? Because that's the world I'm in right now. My heart twists at the rawness in his voice. Maybe not, but I'd rather face it with you than sit on the sidelines petrified. Tears threaten, but I hold them back. God, Alexander, I care about you. Stop acting like that's a weakness. His face contorts with conflicting emotions. For a moment, we just stare at each other in the hush of the library. He's breathing hard, fists clenched. I see fear flicker in his gaze, and it cracks something inside me. I reach out, pressing a hand to his cheek. He almost flinches, but doesn't pull away. My voice softens. I'm so worried. Please don't shoulder this alone. He closes his eyes, exhaling shakily. I feel the tension in his jaw. Then abruptly he wrenches away, turning his back on me. I can't do this, he mutters, but his tone wavers. Why? I ask, stepping up behind him, pressing a hand to his shoulder. I can feel the corded muscles trembling. Why can't you let me help? He spins, voice rising. Rakhi, because if I let you in, I'll lose the edge I need. I'll be too afraid for you. I'll do something reckless. I won't repeat that. I see the raw vulnerability in his eyes despite the anger. My own frustration surges, and before I can think, I grab his face in both hands and kiss him. Hard. It's messy, an explosion of pent-up longing and rage. He stiffens at first, letting out a muffled noise of surprise. Then with a low growl, he yields, kissing me back fiercely. Our teeth clash, breath ragged, as if we're devouring each other out of desperation. He grips my waist, pulling me flush against his body. For a heartbeat, the world tilts. All the anger, fear, longing collides in that heated kiss. I taste his frustration, sense the darkness swirling inside him. My heart hammers. We break apart for air, foreheads pressed together, panting. His eyes burn with an unreadable mix of desire and guilt. Lori, this isn't fair to you. I tug him closer, nails digging into his shirt collar. Screw fairness, I whisper, voice cracking. I can't stand your distance anymore. If you're going to shut me out, at least give me this moment. He hesitates, then curses under his breath and crushes his mouth to mine again. The intensity is electric. My back hits the library wall, a bookshelf rattling overhead. We kiss with reckless abandon, limbs tangling as if we're starved for each other's touch. Everything is raw, a swirl of tears and fury. He tries to be controlled, but I feel him unravel, piece by piece. I'm not gentle right now, he warns, voice husky between frantic kisses. I can't. Then don't be, I gasp, arching against him. My head spins with adrenaline, half lost in the pent-up emotion. I want all of you. He groans, kissing me deeper, hands roaming up under my coat. I let out a broken sound, tears mingling with the fierce heat in my veins. We stumble through the doorway, nearly crashing into a side table. He clutches my hand, dragging me upstairs, footsteps echoing on the marble. His hold is possessive, borderline desperate, but I cling to it, needing reassurance he's still here. We burst into his bedroom, the door banging shut. The place is shadowed by heavy curtains, only a faint glow from the overcast sky filtering in. He flicks on a bedside lamp, the warm light illuminating the tension in his face. For a second, we just stand there, breathing hard. I see the flicker of guilt in his eyes again, and it infuriates me. Don't you dare regret this, I whisper, stepping close, yanking his shirt collar. I want you, Alexander. Stop shutting me out. He answers by capturing my lips, pinning me against the foot of the bed. Every line of his body vibrates with an almost feral need, but underneath it, I sense his heartbreak. I wrap my arms around his neck, letting him devour me in kisses that bruise, that speak of longing withheld too long. My scrubs are peeled away haphazardly, and I manage to unbutton his shirt, revealing the taut planes of his torso. He's all muscle and tension, trembling with pent-up emotion. We tumble onto the bed. His mouth trails across my neck, breath hot, fingers tangling in my hair. I'm consumed by the moment, our tears, our gasps, the friction of bare skin. He tries to remain detached, but each time he utters my name, it's laced with raw desperation. Lori, he chokes out, pressing his forehead to my shoulder. This can't fix anything. I cradle his face, forcing him to look at me. It fixes the distance. Then I guide his mouth back to mine, silent tears sliding down my cheeks. I can't lose him like this. He responds with a fervor that shakes me to the core.
I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyla would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
For a few seconds, there's only the thunderous pulse of blood in my ears. Sweat beads on our skin, and I feel his heartbeat hammering against my chest. Then he rolls to the side, exhaling shakily, pulling me into his arms. The quiet that follows is stark, broken only by our ragged breathing. My cheeks are damp from tears I never fully felt. He strokes my hair, chest rising and falling. I close my eyes, wanting to stay in this fleeting bubble forever. Eventually, he breaks the silence, voice hoarse. "I'm sorry," he mutters, pressing his face into my hair. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just can't think straight with you around." My heart squeezes. I'd rather you be messed up with me than numb without me. I shift, propping myself on an elbow to look at him. The lamplight reveals raw vulnerability in his expression. "Please, Alexander, let me be here however I can." He cups my cheek, gaze torn. "I wish it were that simple." He sighs, brushing a thumb over my lower lip. "But I can't promise you safety. I can't promise I won't have to disappear again." I swallow, lips trembling. "You're not alone. Don't forget that. Even if you vanish, I want to know you'll come back to me eventually. That's all I need. Don't freeze me out completely." His eyes shut for a moment. "All right," he whispers. I'll try." An unspoken weight still hangs over us. The knowledge that kidnappers hold Ivan, that a war might erupt, that Nyla's trial is days away, none of it vanished with our passionate interlude. Yet for an instant, lying there together, sweat cooling on our skin, we cling to the illusion that we can hold each other through the turmoil. My exhaustion from the night shift hits me full force. Adrenaline spent, I feel my eyelids drooping. We shuffle to pull a blanket over our cooling bodies. He tucks me against his chest, heartbeat steady beneath my ear. I sense him drifting too, but his mind likely churns with worry. My last thought before darkness claims me is a silent prayer that I can keep him close, no matter the danger. A jarring ring shatters the quiet. I blink awake, disoriented. The bedside lamp is still on, casting a golden glow. My body aches pleasantly, reminding me of our frantic lovemaking. Alexander's warmth is absent, and I realize he's no longer in bed. My heart lurches. I hear muffled talking from the adjacent room, the study. The phone keeps ringing, then a click followed by Alexander's low voice. Curiosity sparks me upright. I fumble for clothes, pulling on a discarded shirt. My bare feet tread silently across the plush bedroom carpet, adrenaline creeping back as I approach the door. A crack in the study door reveals Alexander standing by his desk, phone pressed to his ear, knuckles white. The tension in his posture is unmistakable. "I told you I need proof Ivan's alive," he says, voice taut. There's a pause, presumably an answer from the caller. Then he curses quietly under his breath. "Number, no, that's not fine. Listen, I'll gather the ransom, but if I suspect a setup..." Another pause, his shoulders coiling with anger. "You want more than money? That was never the deal." A bitter laugh. "You think I can produce that kind of loyalty oath in 2 days?" "Yes, I know what's at stake." He rakes a hand through his tousled hair. "You hold all the cards. I get it." His voice breaks a fraction, jaw tightening. "I'll do it, but if you harm him any further..." He inhales sharply. "Fine. Expect to hear from me soon." He sets the phone down, running a shaky hand over his face. The hush crackles with tension. My heart twists. He's dealing with a fresh blow, some new demand. I take a hesitant step forward, ready to ask what's wrong, how I can help, but the sorrow in his eyes as he stares at the phone rips me apart. Suddenly I understand. He's about to head out, handle something dangerous, and he doesn't want me in the crossfire. For a split second, I consider rushing into the room, demanding he explain, yet I freeze. The memory of how fiercely he tried to keep me away resurfaces. Would confronting him again make him retreat deeper into that fortress? I see him rummage in a desk drawer, pulling out a small sidearm, checking the chamber with a grim efficiency. My stomach clenches. He's leaving, possibly walking into lethal territory. He slips the gun into a holster, shoulders slumped with the weight of a man forced to do something he hates. Then he moves toward the door. My breath hitches. I scurry back to the bedroom, heart pounding. I can't let him vanish without telling me. But do I corner him again? Before I can decide, the bedroom door creaks open. I quickly drop to the bed, feigning a half-asleep posture. He steps inside softly, retrieving his shirt from the floor. My pulse roars in my ears as I sense him glance at me. I can almost feel the regret in his gaze. Then he crosses to the dresser, rummaging for something else. My chest tightens. I want to sit up, throw my arms around him, and beg him not to go. But I sense that if I do, he'll just push me away or mask his emotions again. He tugs on clothes, dark pants, a black jacket. Then he stands by the bed, exhaling. I force my eyes half open, pretending I'm just waking. "Alexander?" I murmur. "Where? What's happening?" He hesitates, gaze flicking across my face. "I have to handle something urgent," he says quietly, voice guarded. "Let me come with you," I whisper, dread twisting my stomach. A flash of pain crosses his features. "No, this is my burden. You need to stay safe." He leans down, pressing a gentle kiss to my forehead. The tenderness nearly shatters me. I'll come back if I can, he murmurs, almost too soft to hear. Tears prick my eyes, but I clamp my lips shut, nodding numbly. He's leaving me again. Helplessness surges, but I sense that if I fight him now, I'll drive a wedge deeper. So I lie still, tears silently tracking down my cheeks, letting him believe I'm half asleep. He brushes his thumb over my cheek, then he's gone, footsteps fading. Moments later, the faint sound of a door opening and closing echoes through the townhouse. The hush that follows is agonizing. I realize I'm trembling, the leftover warmth of our passionate encounter now replaced by an icy fear that this might be the last time I see him alive. I sit up, burying my face in my hands. He's alone, going to pay a ransom or strike a deal, taking unimaginable risks. My mind floods with the final words from that phone call. You want more than money. Something bigger is at play, some demand that might break him or cost him his life. A sob escapes me. My body still aches from our desperate intimacy, but my heart aches more. We had one wild, tear-soaked moment that felt like we poured all our frustrations into raw passion. And now he's gone, leaving me with no clue how this ends. My mind replays how determined he was to keep me in the dark. I might not see him again if things go wrong. The thought is unbearable. I want to chase him, but the memory of his haunted expression stops me. He's chosen his path. All I can do is pray he returns. Another wave of tears falls as I curl up on his bed, the sheets still smelling of him. Damn you, Alexander, for trying to protect me by shutting me out, but I can't hate him for it. He's carrying the weight of an empire's war. Lightning-like flashes of memory from our heated encounter swirl in my mind. His rough kisses, our bodies tangled in frantic release, the unspoken sorrow in his eyes even at the height of passion. It was equal parts love and desperation. I cling to it, hoping that spark means he'll fight to come back. Outside, the day brightens, a sliver of sunlight creeping past the heavy drapes. But inside this townhouse, it feels like the gloom has only deepened. I lie there, hearing my own ragged breaths, mind spinning with dread. My phone lies somewhere among our discarded clothes. I consider calling him, but what would I say? Another ping of fear tells me calling might distract him. God, I can't stand this powerlessness. Eventually, I roll onto my side, letting exhaustion take me. The adrenaline crash from confrontation, tears, and that frenzied coupling leaves me hollow. My final thought before I slip into restless sleep is a silent plea. Come back. I don't care how, just come back to me. Because the emptiness in his bedroom without him is too much to bear, and I can't face a world where he might vanish for good. When I wake again, I'm alone. No sign of him. The hush in the townhouse weighs like a tomb. Deep down, I know he's in the middle of something huge and dangerous, and I can't tear him from it. For now, all I have is the memory of his arms around me. That desperate, scorching love scene that was half an argument, half a promise. I'll come back if I can, he said. I cling to those words, refusing to let the cold fear snuff out my hope. Yet the phone remains silent, and the creeping sense of dread intensifies with every passing minute. I swallow hard, alone with the knowledge that the war he fights is bigger than I can imagine, and he fights it without me, determined to keep me safe, even if it shreds my heart to pieces.
He's the mysterious man I had a fling with last night, and it turns out he's my dad's new boss.
I was getting IVF, but the donor came in and wanted his stuff back. It was too late. Now we're stuck together and I'm having his baby.
Ready to dive into a world where passion meets intrigue, where love knows no bounds.
If I don't find a woman to marry in the next 24 hours, then my entire company is going to be taken from me. There's only one woman I can ask, but she hates me because I ruined her father.
Introducing the Escape Your Life with Romance Book Bundle by Amazon best-selling author Nyla Walker, a collection of 100 standalone romances that promised to sweep you off your feet.
And the best part?
Get 90% off on the whole bundle, baby.
For $99.99, you'll get over 800 hours of pure romance with strong alpha males and sassy women who don't back down.
They can pass all the tariffs they want, ladies. But you won't find this deal for 100 audiobooks for less than $1 each anywhere else.
90 cents per book for all the dirty fun I can handle? How could I say no to that?
Visit TylaWalker.com to grab this bundle today.
Get ready to escape your life.
With Miss Nyla. Chapter 325. Nyla. I jolt awake in my narrow bunk, heart pounding hard enough to rattle my ribs. For a split second, I think it's the guards again, come to yank me out of bed and haul me to some nightmare exam. My pulse thuds in my ears. My fingers clench the threadbare blanket. But there's no baton scraping the bars, no echoing footsteps. Just my cellmate Jo, muttering in her sleep on the bunk below, and the usual dull flicker of fluorescent lights leaking through the corridor. I exhale, rolling onto my back. Sharp pain flares along my rib cage. The same spot that's been aching nonstop since the last time they cornered me. That so-called medical exam, which was a brutal ambush. If I close my eyes, I can still see the guard's cruel sneer, feel his baton cracking across my shoulder, and sense their aim shifting toward my abdomen. That's always the worst flash. The moment I realized they were targeting my baby. A baby that, for now, I desperately want to keep secret from everyone, especially Marcus. I press a hand against my side, feeling the faint bruises beneath my prison-issue jumpsuit. It's been days, but the ache remains. I swallow down the knot of nausea that creeps up whenever I remember that night. They planned to leave me bleeding in that basement. If someone higher up the chain, maybe an outraged staff member, hadn't intervened, I wouldn't be breathing. Neither would my child. Jo makes a noise, shifting below. She's half curled in her blankets, dark curls spread across her pillow. My eyes drift to the bars that confine us. In the dim overhead light, everything looks gray and hopeless, but I force myself upright, ignoring the protest in my ribs. Another day in Stonebridge Correctional, another day of trying to stay alive until my trial, another day to hold on to the fragile hope that I can prove my innocence. Because if I don't, I'll give birth behind bars. Over my dead body, I think grimly. I won't let Marcus's cruelty define my child's future. Footsteps echo in the hallway, and my pulse jumps. It's just an early guard doing rounds, but adrenaline still surges. I press my palm to my belly, a reflex I can't shake. The baby is my secret, but secrets in prison are as fragile as paper in a hurricane. If the rumor spreads any further, I worry how many more ambushes might come. Abruptly, a harsh male voice calls out, "Thomas!" from somewhere down the hall. My heart kicks. I crane my neck to see a guard at the bars, rattling them impatiently. Jo stirs awake behind me. "What?" I manage, throat dry. He gives me a sour look through the steel. "You're scheduled for a medical check. Get up. Let's go." My stomach drops. A medical check. Again, already the bruises from the last one burn in memory. My heart slams painfully against my ribs. I can't face another trap. I glance at Jo, who's sitting up, eyes wide with anxiety. "Don't go," Jo blurts, voice husky from sleep. "They tried once. They'll try again." I swallow. I don't have a choice. I whisper back. A wave of dread washes over me, but refusing an order in here is practically begging for solitary confinement. One more black mark, and the warden might bury me alive. Jo clenches her fists around the edge of the bunk. "Then be careful. Scream if you need me. I'll come running, I promise." The guard bangs the bars again. "Move it." I bite my lip and rise, ignoring the pinch in my side as I slip on my worn shoes. Just as I step toward the cell door, Jo grabs my hand. "Nyla," she breathes. "Don't trust them." All I can do is nod. The guard unlocks the cell door with a clank, and 2 more uniformed officers stand behind him, forming a half circle that corrals me out. As I exit, he slams the door shut behind me. I catch a final glimpse of Jo's tense face, her knuckles white on the bars, before they shove me forward. The corridor is emptier than usual. Normally at this hour, I'd see staff going about their business, maybe a nurse or 2. But the fluorescent lights overhead flicker ominously, and the halls are eerily quiet. My footsteps echo, accompanied by the heavy tread of the guards behind me. One guard, a balding man with a sour expression, keeps smirking like he's in on a joke I'm about to pay for. We pass a sign that reads, "Infirmary," on a peeling arrow sticker. Instead of leading me straight inside, they divert me down a side passage that's under maintenance. I see a battered sign, "Wet floor, caution," and beyond it, half the lights are out. My anxiety spikes. This is too reminiscent of that basement corridor from last time. I steal a glance at the guards. They're exchanging glances I can't interpret. My pulse races. Not again. My baby flutters in my mind's eye, fueling my determination. If they try to jump me, I'll fight tooth and nail. They herd me around a corner into another wide hallway. Up ahead looms the infirmary doors, typically glass panels. But they're suspiciously closed. No nurse at the desk. The sour-faced guard motions me inside with a curt jerk of his head. Go on. The doc's waiting. I hesitate on the threshold. Through the glass, I see only dim overhead lights. No staff. My gut knots. This is a setup. The memory of baton strikes intensifies. Fear threatens to paralyze me, but I grit my teeth and step inside. I have to show I'm not intimidated. Once I'm in, the guards remain outside, letting the door click shut. My heart hammers. They didn't follow me. They're giving me to whoever's inside. I take a few cautious steps forward, scanning the gloom. Rows of cots line the walls, but every bed is empty, sheets neatly folded. No nurse station is manned, no doctor flipping through charts. The only sign of life is a cluster of inmates near the far wall, talking in hushed voices. My scalp prickles. This isn't normal. I back up a step, wanting to flee, but the door behind me is locked from outside. Trapped. The group of inmates notices me, slowly fanning out in a loose semicircle. My stomach twists. Their eyes are cold, each face wearing an expression that says I'm nothing but prey. Marcus's watchers, I realize, heart sinking. He must have paid them to corner me, the same way he paid those guards to orchestrate that last beating. One of them, a wiry woman with spiky hair, spits on the floor. Stone fiancé, right? Her voice drips with contempt. You think you're special? Messing with big money folks? Another, taller inmate with scars across her forearms, smirks. We hear you got big shot connections outside. That your man's some fancy hospital scion? Let's see if that helps you now. My chest tightens. So, the rumor about me and Jacob is swirling again. Fear grips me, but I refuse to cower. Leave me alone, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Spiky hair laughs, a harsh bark. You don't give orders here, princess. She steps closer. The others spread out, blocking any path to the exit. My pulse roars, fight or flight. I see a makeshift shiv in one woman's hand, a sharpened piece of plastic, glinting under the overheads. I raise my hands defensively, stepping back. My mind whirls. They're going to kill me, or they'll carve me up enough to terrify me before the trial. My baby, I think, an instinctive protective reflex. I shuffle sideways, trying not to expose my midsection. I'm not looking for trouble. That's too bad, the scarred woman taunts, because trouble's looking for you. Before I can react, she lunges, aiming a blow at my stomach with the shiv. Panic seizes me. I twist away, letting out a choked cry. The blade grazes my side, the sting flashing white hot. Another inmate grabs for my hair. I duck, yanking free, ignoring the tear of pain in my ribs. My breath comes in frantic bursts. I lash out with a foot, managing to shove spiky hair back. She staggers, cursing. A third inmate slams into me from behind, driving me to my knees. I hiss in agony, arms flying up to shield my head, my body coiled to protect my belly. Tough chick, huh? Scar Lady sneers, raising the shiv again. Let's see how tough. Suddenly, a large hand wraps around her forearm, wrenching it sideways. Scar Lady cries out as her weapon clatters to the floor. I scramble backward, heart pounding. Who? A monstrous figure looms over her, an inmate with shoulders twice my width, thick arms covered in swirling tattoos. She's at least 6 feet tall, built like a boulder. Her expression is a cold snarl as she hurls Scar Lady to the ground with ease. Pick on someone your own size, the newcomer growls, voice low and dangerous. The other inmates recoil. Spiky hair tries to tackle the huge woman, but the giant inmate sidesteps, delivering a crushing elbow that makes spiky hair reel. In the corner of my eye, A smaller inmate leaps forward, aiming a punch at me. I reflexively swing up my arm to block, wincing as pain flares in my ribs. My desperation heightens. I've learned a bit about defending myself these past weeks, though I'm far from a seasoned fighter. But with the big woman occupying the main threats, I managed to scramble aside and land a clumsy kick to the smaller attacker's shin. Out of nowhere, Jo barrels through the infirmary door. "Nyla!" she yells, eyes wild. She probably forced her way past the guards. "Get off her." She dives at the inmate, who's about to pounce on me again, tackling them to the floor. The two of them roll, trading curses and blows. My heart is a thunder drum in my ears. Chaos erupts. The big woman roars, unleashing a series of brutal strikes that send Scar Lady skidding across the floor. I flinch at the raw violence, but relief floods me that she's on my side. Another inmate tries to sneak up behind her, but the giant lurches around, elbowing them in the jaw. The crack of bone on bone resonates. In the midst of the frenzy, I feel an arm loop around my waist, pinning me from behind. An inmate's breath hisses in my ear. "Marcus wants you broken, nurse." My blood runs cold. She tries to yank me back, maybe to hold me hostage. My hands claw at her forearm. "Let me go," I choke out, thrashing. She digs her nails into my shoulder. Fear pulses through me. I can't let them pin me. My baby's in mortal danger if they slam me to the ground. Summoning adrenaline, I stomp my heel hard on her foot. She yelps. Her grip loosens. I spin, delivering a desperate punch to her collarbone. She staggers, glaring at me with murder in her eyes. Her lips curl into a feral grin. "You!" She lunges again, but a swift fist collides with her temple. The big woman has rejoined my side, disposing of this attacker like she's a rag doll. The woman slumps to the floor, cursing, and the giant inmate stands over me, breathing heavily. For a split second, I tense, wondering if she'll turn on me next. But instead, she leans in, her voice a low rasp near my ear. "Alexander sent me. Don't ask questions." My eyes go wide, shock zapping through me. "Alexander? He planted an inmate to protect me?" Before I can respond, the last of the attackers rush the giant. She meets them head-on with a vicious strike. My gaze flicks around. Jo is grappling with spiky hair, eventually slamming the woman's head against a metal supply cart. The clang reverberates, then spiky hair collapses, half dazed. Panting, I press a hand to my throbbing side. The entire infirmary corridor is a wreck of thrown chairs, scattered trays, and groaning inmates. My knees threaten to buckle. Adrenaline surges once more as I glance at my stomach. No major wounds, just a stinging cut on my side, dampening my jumpsuit with a small patch of blood. Nothing seems lethal. Relief nearly brings tears to my eyes. Baby's okay. Baby's okay. The huge woman exhales, scanning the incapacitated attackers. Jo staggers over, bruised lip and knuckles raw, but alive. She throws me a wild grin, then eyes the giant inmate warily. "Who the hell are you?" Jo demands, chest heaving. "None of your business," the woman growls, though not unkindly. She slants me a quick look. "Just returning a favor, that's all. These punks had it coming." She stoops, checking me over for injuries. When she spots the blood on my side, she mutters, "Easy, girl. Just a scratch." My heart's pounding too hard to think clearly. Did you say Alexander sent me?" My voice trembles with disbelief. "How?" She shrugs, wiping blood from her lip where one attacker got a lucky shot in. "We're not talking about that here." Her stare is intense, but not unfriendly. "Let's just say you're not as alone as you think." Then she gestures at Jo. "And you, thanks for stepping in. Brave, but reckless." Jo snorts. "Nyla's my friend. I'm not letting these vultures tear her apart." Before we can exchange more words, a broken moan draws our attention. One of the downed inmates snarls, This ain't over, Thomas. Marcus wants you broken. You can't hide behind your new friends forever. My stomach knots. Joe's face darkens, but she doesn't retort. The big woman just glares at the would-be attacker, and the threat fizzles into pained silence. Suddenly, alarms blare. Heavy footsteps reverberate from outside. The large door is shoved open, revealing a flood of guards and the warden herself. She's a thin woman with hawk-like eyes, wearing a perpetual scowl. She takes one look at the battered hallway and the scattered inmates, and her face twists with fury. "What in God's name is this?" she barks, marching forward. The cluster of uniformed guards fans out, weapons at the ready. Fighting in the infirmary, Thomas? I should have known. My anger flares. "I was attacked," I protest, gesturing to the 4 groaning inmates around us. "Ask any—" "Silence!" she snaps, her lips curl. "You're obviously stirring up trouble again. Didn't I warn you last time?" My jaw tightens with frustration. They cornered me. The guards who brought me here vanished. And then a pair of newly bribed guards step up, adjusting their belts in fake confusion. "We found them all brawling," one drawls, not meeting my eye. "Miss Thomas was right in the middle. We keep telling her not to start fights." My fists clench in rage. They're lying through their teeth, covering up their complicity. The warden's cold gaze flicks across Joe and the big inmate, then lands back on me. "You expect me to believe you're the victim again, Thomas? You've been nothing but trouble since the day you arrived." She crosses her arms. "I don't care who you were out there, or who your fiancé is. This is a prison. My prison." I feel the big woman shift behind me, as if ready to speak up. She catches my eye, then lifts her chin. "I saw it happen, Warden. Those 4 jumped Ms. Thomas. She was just defending herself." Joe, sporting a bruise on her cheek, lifts her voice. "Yes, Nyla didn't pick this fight. They set her up." But the warden sneers. "Self-defense, you say? Or maybe you're all in on it. I can't tell, and I don't have time to coddle troublemakers." She flicks her gaze over me with contempt. "One more incident, Thomas, and I'll lock you in solitary for a month. Believe me, I have the authority and the inclination. Is that clear?" Blood roars in my ears. "But, Warden, please." She waves a dismissive hand. "No excuses, no pleas. I'm done hearing your whining." With that, she turns on her heel, gesturing to the unconscious inmates. "Get them to the holding area. Strip them of privileges. As for you 3, she points at me, Joe, and the big woman. "Get out of my sight. Now." I stand there in stunned fury, breath coming in ragged bursts. The big woman clenches her fists, but a glance from me makes her loosen them. No point provoking the warden further. The warden sweeps off, her guards trailing behind, none bothering to check my bleeding side. The hypocrisy is staggering. She's obviously in Marcus's pocket. The threat of solitary looms large, and I realize how close I came to being tossed into a dark cell again. After the commotion settles, a hush falls over the infirmary. Broken chairs and scattered supplies litter the floor. I press a hand to my sore ribs, wincing at each breath. Joe touches my shoulder gently. "You okay?" I nod stiffly, though tears threaten. "I'll live. Thanks for backing me up." She musters a small smile, wiping at the blood on her split lip. Then she turns to the big woman. "So, who are you, and why'd you help us?" The woman stands tall, crossing her bulky arms. Up close, she's even more imposing, maybe 6'3", with prison tattoos swirling across biceps like solid pillars. "Name's not important," she mutters. Then she eyes me. "But let's just say someone on the outside doesn't want you dead. My orders are to keep you breathing until your trial." A chill ripples through me. "You said Alexander." She inclines her head. "He made arrangements. I'm not alone here either." Got 2 more watchers scattered around, plus at least 1 officer on staff. That's all I can tell you. My throat is dry. I think about how Alexander must have leveraged his resources, planting allies behind these bars. It's an incredible risk, but I feel a surge of gratitude and confusion. I stammer, "Why would he? How could he?" The woman shrugs. "He pays well, and some of us don't like bullies. Simple as that." She glances pointedly at Joe. "That doesn't mean we're your pals or anything. I don't do chit-chat, but you're under our protection now." Joe exchanges a look with me, eyebrows raised. "I guess we owe you a thanks. This is insane." "Insane," the woman repeats, voice laced with dry humor. "This entire place is a war zone. You got Marcus paying the warden, paying guards, paying half the cons to rough you up. Then there's your fiancé's side, funneling watchers in. Looks like we're heading for a showdown." My stomach flutters. She's so casual about it. "So, you're basically telling me not to trust anybody?" She smirks. "Except me and my associates. At least we won't knife you. That should be enough, right?" Her smirk fades into seriousness. "But don't do anything crazy. Focus on your upcoming trial. Keep your strength. That's what Jacob wants." His name again sends a twist of longing through me. He's out there, orchestrating watchers to protect me while I'm stuck in these walls. My eyes sting, but I refuse to cry. Instead, I nod. "Thank you. For saving me." She dips her head. "Don't mention it. If you need me, you'll find me." Then she turns to leave, boots crunching on broken plastic. Over her shoulder, she says, "Watch your back, Miss Stone Fiancé." Then she's gone, slipping down the corridor. Silence falls. I gingerly touch my side, grimacing at the dampness. "I need to clean this wound before the staff returns," I mumble. Joe moves to help me, rummaging for antiseptics scattered on the floor. My mind spins. Alexander planted guards here. That both comforts and terrifies me, because it means the prison is swarming with factions vying to break or save me. "Hold still," Joe murmurs, dabbing at the cut. I hiss at the sting. She tears open a small gauze packet with her teeth, pressing it firmly. "Damn, they almost got you good." I press a shaky hand over hers. "The baby, I have to be sure." Her expression softens. "We'll get you to a real nurse soon. Or back to the cell to rest. You can't keep risking yourself in these fights." I swallow hard, tears pricking the corners of my eyes. If they keep cornering me, I don't know how I can avoid it. They're not giving me a choice. My voice wavers. They want me broken. I recall the attacker's words, echoing like a curse. Marcus is relentless. He'll do anything to keep me from testifying properly or to scare me into silence. My child is at stake. Joe helps me stand. Our footsteps echo in the emptiness, passing the moaning attackers. None of them are unconscious anymore, but they glare daggers at me, some spitting curses. I avert my eyes, focusing on the swirling mix of relief and fear. I'm battered, but I survived. And apparently, I have a monstrous new ally who fights like a champion, courtesy of Alexander. That thought is surreal, but it's a lifeline in this place. We make our way back toward the cell block, and I limp slightly from the day's beating. The corridor bustles with random inmates and a couple of suspicious guards, but no one stops us. Word must have spread. The warden threatened me with solitary if I keep stirring trouble. My gut clenches at her bias. She knows it's not me causing the trouble. She's just letting Marcus's money talk. But if I so much as sneeze wrong, she'll bury me. In the cell, Joe helps me onto my bunk. My entire body feels shaky, and my side throbs in sync with my racing pulse. She rummages for a rag to wipe the blood from my jumpsuit. "Here," she says softly, pressing a cool compress of water from the cell sink. I press it to my bruised ribs, sighing in relief at the mild numbness. Memories swirl. An attacker's lethal grin, the big woman stepping in like a human tank, and that whispered confession. Alexander sent me. He's not letting me die. He's risking infiltration for me. He's helping Jacob. Maybe Lori is on in this too. Warmth and guilt coil in my chest. He's put more people in danger on my behalf, but how else can I survive? Jo sets the compress aside. That was close, she mutters. Close enough that I got real scared for you. You can't keep living like this, Nyla. You're, pregnant. You have to find a way to stay out of these attacks. My eyes burn, but I nod. I know, but every path leads to more violence. Silence settles, thick with tension. Finally, I sigh. At least now I have some kind of protection, apparently. The big lady said there are 2 others, plus maybe an officer. We should keep an eye out for them. She barks a humorless laugh. Secret bodyguards in prison? This place is beyond insane, but if it keeps you alive until trial, I'm all for it. We lapse into uneasy quiet. My mind churns with everything that's happened. I recall the attacker's hiss. Marcus wants you broken. This is a war. On one side, Marcus bribes the warden, guards, and inmates. On the other, Alexander sneaks in watchers to shield me from further harm. I picture them like 2 storms colliding overhead, and I'm stuck in the middle, battered by thunder and lightning. After a while, Jo helps clean the last of my cuts. Then she sits on her bunk, twirling a loose thread from her blanket. What's your next step? She asks quietly. My trial, I whisper. That's all that matters now. Getting through the next few days, surviving. If I can expose the real evidence that proves I'm innocent, maybe I walk free. Then I'll give birth outside these walls. That's the dream. My throat tightens with raw emotion. I can't let fear overshadow the reason I fight. My baby deserves better. Jo offers a tentative smile. We'll make it happen. One day at a time. I lean back against the cold concrete wall, eyes drifting shut. My body aches, exhaustion heavy in my veins, but a flicker of resolve keeps me upright. I must endure, no matter how many times they come after me. The new inmate's words replay. Focus on the trial. Don't do anything crazy. Alexander's orders are that you survive. In the corridor outside, I hear distant whispers from other inmates, the shuffle of footsteps, the clang of cell doors. There's a new tension in the air. Some must have heard about the infirmary fight, that I walked away in one piece, guarded by a hulking newcomer. They might resent me more or fear me more. Either way, I'll never be safe here. But at least I'm not alone anymore. I press a protective hand to my abdomen, imagining a faint flutter that might be the baby. We'll get through this, I vow silently. We have to. If Marcus thinks he can break me with constant attacks, he's mistaken. And if Alexander's watchers can shield me from lethal harm, I might just make it to the courtroom in one piece. From there, I'll rely on the evidence Jacob's gathering. A final swirl of fear courses through me as I recall the warden's parting threat. Solitary confinement. The ultimate tool to crush someone's spirit. One more brawl, contrived or not, and she'll throw me in the hole for a month. I can't survive pregnancy in solitary, not physically nor mentally. Marcus wants me hopeless. But I cling to the big woman's quiet vow of protection. If she and her allies can keep me from further setups, I might avoid solitary. My eyes drift open. Jo sits quietly on her bunk, fiddling with her hair tie. She gives me a small nod, as if to say, we're in this together. I muster a smile in return. Somewhere out there, I sense 2 unstoppable forces at war. But within these bars, my focus remains simple. Protect my child, survive each day, and brace for the trial that could set me free. No matter how battered I feel, I can't let them break me. So I straighten my shoulders against the cell wall, ignoring the dull throb in my ribs and vow to push forward. You can come for me, Marcus. I'm not giving up. You know that feeling when a book pulls you in, wraps around you, and refuses to let go? When the tension is so thick, you swear you can feel it?
Welcome to 30 sinfully addictive romance audiobooks that will ruin your sleep.
Wow, I wasn't ready for this. One chapter in, and I'm already hooked.
Oh, you thought this was just another audiobook collection. No, sweetheart. This is the Dirty 30. Forbidden love, dangerous desires, billionaires with secrets, bad boys who bite back. And every last word is dripped in temptation.
I thought I could just listen to one chapter before bed. Now it's 2 a.m. and I need answers. Need.
So what are you waiting for? Click the link. Start listening. Let the Dirty 30 ruin you in the best way possible.
Escape your life with Miss Nyla.
Chapter 3, 126, Jacob. I stand in my father's old study, staring out the window into a leaden sky. The glass is chilly against my fingertips, an odd contrast to the hot surge of anxiety flooding my chest. My phone rests on the desk behind me, silent. No fresh messages, no calls, nothing but an interminable wait. How can they just vanish? I mutter under my breath. Derek and Trixa have been off the grid for a day and a half, ever since Derek's cryptic text. We have the evidence. On the run from Marcus. We'll contact soon. At first, I was elated. Evidence to clear Nyla. At last. But now they've gone silent. My stomach is in knots, imagining the worst. Are they hurt? Caught? Dead? A knock at the door jolts me. Julie peeks inside, her cheeks flushed with agitation. Jacob, you need to see this. She doesn't wait for my response, but flips her phone around, showing a live broadcast feed. The Stone family crest in the background, and front and center, Marcus Swan wearing a solemn expression before a row of microphones. My gut twists. What's he doing now? I ask, voice hollow. Julie steps forward, volume turned up. Marcus's voice resonates with faux gravitas. It pains me to share that my own daughter, Trixa, has gone rogue. She killed one of my loyal guards, a man with 2 children, when he tried to stop her from stealing confidential documents. My vision darkens. The words blur as Marcus unleashes a torrent of accusations. Trixa is a murderer. Derek Shaw is her accomplice. They're criminals on the run. The camera zooms in on a photo of the deceased guard, the man Trixa apparently shot in that parking garage fiasco, leaving behind a widow and kids. My breath stutters. Trixa actually shot someone? God. He's twisting everything, Julie says quietly, stepping around the desk to set her phone near my elbow. Making Trixa look like a heartless killer. And Derek, too. The media is running with it. My jaw clenches so hard it hurts. Where's Trixa's side of the story, or Derek's? No one's heard from them. Julie rubs her temple. Reports say Trixa's wanted for murder. Derek's wanted for aiding and abetting. They're suspects in a stolen documents case. The entire fiasco is dragging Stone Hospital's name through the mud again. Shareholders are panicking. I let out a harsh breath, glancing at the TV feed again. Marcus feigns wiping a tear. I loved my daughter, he says, voice trembling with obviously staged sorrow. But she betrayed us all, and I pray the law brings her to justice. Rage surges. He's such a lying bastard. Julie sets her phone aside, arms folded. Jacob, we need a statement. People are asking if we're harboring Trixa, or if Derek's using Stone resources. Hell, the press hammered me all morning. How do we respond? I ask bitterly. We can't say we're helping them. We don't even know where they are. My frustration flares anew. Derek's last message promised me a bulletproof set of evidence that might free Nyla. Now he's MIA, branded a criminal. Damn it, Derek! Why did you go underground like this? Julie lifts a shoulder. He's probably trying to stay alive. You know Marcus has half the city on his payroll. If Trixa truly shot one of his men, then he's out for blood. My hands tremble. Guilt and anger war inside me. Trixa's betrayal of her father was the best hope we had. Her knowledge of the forged funeral receipt, the tampered footage. But everything spiraled into chaos. I can't lose Derek, too. The thought hits like a punch in the gut. He's my best friend, the one who stood by me throughout the meltdown at Stone Hospital. Julie reaches out, squeezing my shoulder. We have to handle the crisis here. Meanwhile, Margaret Ross is expecting you in an hour for that mock cross-examination. The trial's next week, remember? A hollow laugh escapes me. Right, the reason for all this madness. Nyla's trial. Marcus wants Trixa's stolen documents back so the truth never sees daylight. Meanwhile, I have to play the perfect witness in some twisted performance. My chest tightens at the thought of testifying, of recalling the night my parents died, the rumor-laden nonsense painting Nyla as a murderer. Julie's eyes soften. You need to be prepared, Jacob. Margaret is no nonsense. If you show up in that meltdown state, she'll tear you apart. She specifically said, make sure Jacob's head is in the game. I rake a hand through my hair, turning away from the TV. Fine, let's do it. The sooner we're done, the sooner I can figure out how to find Derek and Trixa, or at least salvage their reputations. Julie nods, picking up her phone. I'll handle the Stone PR angle. Try to calm the board. You focus on your testimony. She hesitates, then murmurs. We'll figure something out for Derek. Just don't spiral, okay? Easier said than done. My heart clenches. Please, Derek, be safe. Without another word, I stride out of the study, phone in my pocket set to max volume in case they call. But it stays heartbreakingly silent. Margaret's office is an unassuming suite in a downtown high-rise, far from the swirl of Stone Hospital. She greets me at the door in a crisp suit, her expression set. Jacob, about time, she says, voice brisk. We're behind schedule. You ready? I blow out a breath, stepping inside. The conference room is cozy but stark, the walls lined with shelves of legal tomes. She set up a small table with a recorder and notes, perfect for a mock cross-examination. I swallow the ball of tension in my throat. As ready as I'll ever be. She gestures me to sit across from her. This might be harsh, but trust me, it'll be worse in real court. She passes me a bottle of water. Drink this. Try to keep calm. My hand trembles slightly as I uncap it. The swirl of worry about Derek, Trixa, and the meltdown with Marcus floods my chest, but I force my focus on Margaret. Nyla needs me to be steady. This is for her sake. Margaret draws a deep breath, flipping through her notes. All right, let's begin. I'll play the role of the prosecutor. Whenever you're ready, say so. I set the water down with a shaky nod. Go ahead. She levels me with a sharp gaze. Prosecutor mode, I realize. She's channeling a crisp, accusatory tone. Mr. Stone, kindly state your full name for the record. I lick my lips. Jacob Henry Stone. And you are the fiancé of Miss Nyla Thomas, correct? Yes, I say quietly. She pounces. Isn't it true that Miss Thomas was once just a nurse at Stone Hospital, working under your mother's direction, and you rewarded her with lavish gifts? My pulse spikes. She was a nurse, yes, but her talents... Margaret, prosecutor, I remind myself, cuts in. So you were in a power position and she was staff. Many might say you manipulated her into a relationship. Or perhaps she manipulated you for financial gain, correct? Anger flares. No, it wasn't like that, I retort, gripping the table edge. We fell in love. She never wanted money from me. If anything, she refused it. Margaret's face is stone cold. That's your spin, Mr. Stone. Yet the prosecution will argue Miss Thomas was cunning enough to escalate her position from a nobody nurse to your personal confidant, and eventually your fiancé. a seat of power. Could she not have used that vantage to sabotage your parents? A chill runs through me. No, she had no reason to. Didn't she? Margaret's eyes narrow. Your parents disapproved of your relationship, didn't they? Hilda Stone was famously protective. Could Nyla have felt threatened, spurring her to remove them as obstacles? My mind reels. This is how they'll twist it. My parents. My voice falters. They were suspicious, yes, but Nyla would never. But they died in a suspicious car accident, presumably sabotage, Margaret rips back. And Miss Thomas was the last person seen that night, near the Stone mansion. The evidence is there. Funeral wreath purchase in her name, a toll booth camera placing her car close by. Are you claiming you didn't suspect anything? I break into a sweat. The funeral wreath was forged. The camera footage was likely doctored, I manage. Margaret slams a folder on the table. Prove it, right now. If you can't, the jury sees Miss Thomas as a cunning fiancé who stood to gain from your inheritance, correct? I press my eyes shut, fighting an urge to shout. My inheritance! Nyla never cared about that. But how do I articulate it so a jury believes me? Nyla didn't need my inheritance. She only wanted to help people. Run the hospital ethically. My voice shakes with frustration. She is a good person. Margaret's lips thin. You see how every statement you make can be twisted? You say she's good. The prosecution says she's cunning. You say she refused money. They claim it was all an act. The problem is we don't have conclusive proof yet that those receipts are forged. She flips a page. Your mother's final voice message. I think Nyla wants to kill me. Did you forget that? My stomach clenches like a fist. That damned message. It haunted me from day one. My mother, sounding frightened on the phone, claiming Nyla was out to get her. I swallow, voice trembling. I never believed that message. I still don't. Margaret's tone softens a fraction, seeing the torment on my face. But she keeps going. The prosecution might play that voicemail over and over. They'll ask, did you ever question Miss Thomas's real motives? If you say no, they'll paint you as naive. If you say yes, you appear uncertain of her innocence. She levels me with a look. Do you see the trap? I bury my face in my hands, breathing unsteadily. Yes, I whisper. It's a lose-lose. They'll tear me apart no matter what I say. We fall into a tense silence. My chest feels weighted by an invisible boulder. Is Nyla doomed because every piece of evidence can be twisted? I can't abandon her. But each question Margaret throws stabs deeper into my confidence. She exhales. I'm sorry, Jacob, but you must be ready. One slip on the stand, one moment of anger or confusion, and the jury might see Nyla the cunning killer, rather than Nyla the scapegoat. She needs you calm, factual, unwavering in your belief. I nod numbly, swallowing tears that threaten. My heart's pounding in my ears. Calm, factual, unwavering. Right now, everything feels the opposite. My best friend is missing. Trixa's a fugitive. Marcus is blasting them on national TV. The evidence we needed might be lost if Derek's in hiding or captured. Meanwhile, the trial date looms. God, how can I stay unwavering when the ground's collapsing? Margaret studies me. Let's take a short break. You're trembling. She passes me another water. You need to keep it together. I choke out a bitter laugh. I'm trying. She stands, walking around the table to lay a hand on my shoulder. Look, I know it's bleak, but we still have potential leads. If Trixa and Derek resurface with the stolen documents, we can blow this case wide open. Until then, we have to prepare for the worst scenario, testifying with the existing evidence stacked against us. I slump in my seat, covering my face. My mother's final message replays in my mind. I despise how it phrased my convictions, adding that gnawing doubt. Not because I truly believe Nyla did it, but because if my mother believed it, the jury might as well. Margaret steps back to her side of the table, retrieving a new set of questions. We'll run another 5 minutes of cross-examination, then we'll refine your answers. Ready? I force myself upright. Yes, I say softly, bracing for another barrage. I'm shaking by the time Margaret finally stops. My head throbs, drenched in sweat. Every question forced me to dredge up humiliating or painful details. The friction between Nyla and my parents, the night she left my bed, the toll booth footage. I tripped over my words multiple times, handing Margaret golden lines to pivot into. Maybe she's not innocent after all. It's horrifying how easily a skilled prosecutor can warp the narrative. Margaret shuts her folder, exhaling. We have a long way to go, but you improved as we went on. Fewer emotional outbursts. I wipe a shaky hand across my brow. That's your definition of improvement? I mutter. I feel like I'm suffocating. She nods, expression sympathetic now that her prosecutor mask is off. Cross-examinations are brutal, especially in high-profile murder trials. If you aren't prepared, the real prosecutor will tear you apart. So we keep practicing. I nod stiffly. My phone buzzes on the table, jolting me. I grab it, hope surging. Derek? But the screen shows only a spam text. Disappointment crushes me. Margaret notices my crestfallen face. News about Derek? She asks quietly. No, just a worthless message. I set the phone aside, frustration thrumming. I can't help but worry. Trixa is now labeled a murderer on live television. Derek's presumably with her. If they've gone dark, maybe it's to avoid being traced. Or maybe Marcus got them. My voice cracks on the last phrase. Margaret's lips press into a thin line. Try not to think worst case. They might be lying low, waiting for an opening. Meanwhile, you have a job. Hold the line for Nyla. That's the best way to honor Derek's last message about the evidence. If they show up in time, we merge everything. I blow out a breath, leaning back in my chair. My chest is so tight, it hurts to inhale fully. Right, I mumble. Focus on the trial. Have faith that Derek will return with the data. Maybe in a day or two. But the trial is next week, I remind myself, feeling that unstoppable clock tick in my head. Margaret hesitates, then slides a single sheet of paper across the table. I was saving this for after we concluded, but it's relevant. Her eyes flick to me. I got word the prosecution filed a notice of a surprise witness. They claim someone will testify they saw Nyla tampering with your parents' car the night of the crash. It's not confirmed yet. My spine goes rigid. What? Who? She grimaces. They haven't revealed the witness's identity. Just that they're prepared to testify under oath, claiming they recognized Nyla from Stone Hospital. If that holds up, it's devastating. My heart lurches, sweaty palms gripping the table edge. It's a lie. Another trick of Marcus or some bribed staffer, but the jury might buy it if we can't disprove them. She inclines her head. Exactly. We need to find out who this so-called witness is and if we can discredit them. But with Trixa and Derek missing, we have no direct route to those hidden documents that might undermine it. A wave of dizziness washes over me. So many threats, so little time. If this ghost witness testifies convincingly, the entire case might spin against Nyla. My gaze drifts to the far window where the city sprawls below. We'll handle it, I say softly, though I'm not sure how. We have to. Margaret stands, collecting her notes. I'll do some digging. Maybe we can push the judge for an identity reveal sooner. Meanwhile, keep your phone close in case Derek or Trixa tries to reach you with a burner. For now, rest. We'll run more mock cross tomorrow. I rise, shoulders heavy, forcing a nod. Thank you, Margaret. Really. Her lips twitch in a half-smile. Nyla's lucky you're fighting so hard. Let's hope we see results before the trial begins. She motions toward the door, indicating we're done. I exit Margaret's building, mind swirling with dread, and slip into a waiting car that whisks me back to Stone Manor. The place no longer feels like home, but a mausoleum of old regrets. Once inside, I navigate the corridor to my father's old office. Again. I can't help but pace the floor, phone clutched tight, waiting for any glimmer from Derek. Time crawls. Each second that passes leaves me with a stronger sense of doom. I flick on the TV briefly, searching for updates. The news cycles are all about Trixa's alleged murder. Marcus is winning the PR war. My phone remains silent. My mind replays every question from the cross-examination, every possible answer. Each scenario ends in Nyla being found guilty. Eventually, I slump into the leather armchair behind the desk, burying my face in my hands. The image of my mother's final voice message flickers behind my eyelids, stoking guilt. If only I had pressed her more about why she thought Nyla was dangerous. If only I'd realized Marcus's manipulation sooner. I feel tears pricking. No, I can't break down. Nyla needs me strong. A soft rap on the door. Julie again. Her face is etched with worry. The Stone Board wants an emergency conference call. They're freaking out about Trixa's fiasco, how it might reflect on Stone Hospital's legacy, especially with your name attached. She rubs her eyes. They're basically pressuring me to disclaim Trixa publicly, maybe even disclaim Derek to protect Stone. A lot of people have seen Derek with us, and they know our close ties. I let out a humorless laugh, and disclaiming him would be a PR nuclear bomb, but ignoring it is also a meltdown. I pushed to my feet. All right, let's see if I can calm them. We head to the small conference room. The next hour is a tangle of staccato voices on a speakerphone. Board members outraged, others scared, all wanting me to fix something I have no power over. I manage short, placating phrases about how Stone isn't harboring criminals, about how the legal process will clarify the truth. The conversation devolves into arguments. By the end, I'm drained to the marrow, a cold sweat dotting my brow. Julie ends the call, phone shaking in her hand. I hate this, she mutters. They're turning on each other. Blaming Trixa, you, even me. We can't keep spinning indefinite lines. We need real answers. Try telling that to Marcus, I say flatly, slumping in a chair. He's got the upper hand right now. The board may side with him soon. She opens her mouth to reply, but I wave her off. I need a moment alone. My voice cracks. She nods, exiting quietly. When I'm alone, I press trembling hands to my temples, tears finally slipping free. I'm so tired. Tired of burying my grief for my parents, my fear for Nyla, my worry for Derek. Tired of the vicious game Marcus is orchestrating from behind the scenes. My phone remains maddeningly silent, a black rectangle mocking me from the tabletop. I recall Margaret's final blow in the mock cross. If you can't prove the footage or receipts are faked, how do you explain them? I had no real answer. I gripped the armrests, shutting my eyes. Nyla is innocent, I know it, but the prosecution doesn't care what I feel. They'll exploit every doubt, every slip. My mother's message alone might seal Nyla's fate if I can't discredit it. Derek, Trixa, please come back with the evidence. That's my sole hope. A beep from my phone startles me. I snatch it up. Just an alert from a news app. Murder suspect Trixa Swan reportedly fled city with a man who is identified as Jacob Stone's right-hand man. My frustration flares so violently I almost throw the phone across the room. The next headline is about Marcus's continuing tearful pleas for justice. He's painting Trixa as a heartless monster who butchered an innocent father of two. The news is going viral, and people are eating it like starved humans. I bury my face in my hands again, tears burning. Nyla, Derek, Trixa, we're all sinking under the same storm, and I can't do a damn thing but wait for a phone call that might never come. I spend hours pacing the corridors, ignoring dinner invites. My appetite's gone, replaced by a churning dread. The staff tiptoes around me, well aware I'm in crisis mode. Julie has retreated to manage some board crisis. The entire manor feels haunted by ghosts of better times. Nightfall drapes the windows in black. In my father's study, I stand by the fireplace, phone in hand, spinning it restlessly. No messages. No calls. My reflection in the dark glass of the window looks hollow, circles under my eyes. A memory flickers. How Derek once teased me. You can't always fix everything alone, Stone. Lean on us. Where's that grin now? Lost to the shadows while he runs from Marcus's wrath. Trixa, once manipulative in her own right, but desperate to do the right thing. Did she really kill that guard in self-defense? My mind churns with unanswered questions. An abrupt ring jolts me. The phone! My heart leaps. I scramble to answer, breath caught in my throat. But it's just Margaret Ross. Disappointment crushes me again, but I take the call. Hello? My voice cracks with the weight of too many hopes dashed. Her tone is tight. Jacob, we just received official notice from the prosecution. They confirmed they have a witness who claims to have seen Nyla near your parents' car that night. My stomach drops. One of the worst case scenarios. Who is it? Do they have a name? No name provided yet. They're using a protective measure or some sealed motion. We'll likely only learn it at the last second. This is big, Jacob. If this witness is credible or half credible, it's lethal to our defense. I sink into the armchair, head in my free hand. This can't be happening, I whisper. We needed Trixa's documents to blow open the forgeries. Now we have this surprise witness. The walls feel like they're closing in. Margaret's voice is measured but urgent. I'm telling you so you're not blindsided at trial. We must adapt. If Derek returns with the evidence, we still have a shot. But the clock's ticking. I'd suggest you keep practicing your cross-ex responses. The witness is a wild card that can shift everything. I swallow the lump in my throat, forcing a nod she can't see. Thank you for telling me. I'll be ready. Hang in there, she says gently. Then the line clicks off. I toss the phone onto the desk, clenching my fists until my knuckles pop. Another wave of helplessness nearly drowns me. A new witness claiming they saw Nyla sabotage the car. Could the lies get any thicker? My mind spirals. If we don't prove them liars, Nyla's fate is sealed. Outside, a gust of wind rattles the window, echoing the storm inside my heart. I stand, crossing to the glass, staring at my reflection. The man who stares back looks gaunt, eyes brimming with fear and sorrow. This is who I've become. But for Nyla, for my unborn child, for Derek and Trixa, somehow, I must keep going. I press my palm against the cold pane, letting out a shuddering breath. Please, Derek, come back. Trixa, finish what you started. Marcus can't win. I squeeze my eyes shut, tears escaping. No, I murmur brokenly. It was all a setup. Right, Mom? But the empty room offers no comfort. The only answer is a hush that draws tight around me. Just a few more days. Then it's trial time. God help us if we're not prepared. I try to steady myself with the thought of Nyla, pregnant and fighting in prison. She endures daily threats, and I can't crumble under lesser burdens. Pushing away from the window, I gather scattered papers from the mock cross-ex session. We'll run it again tomorrow, Margaret said. I'll stand in that lonely hot seat, spouting the same truths they keep twisting. Because if I falter, if I let the prosecutor corner me, Nyla goes down for a crime she didn't commit. Focus. I have no other choice. As I slump at the desk, ignoring the cold dinner tray a house staff left earlier, I scribble potential conda responses. My handwriting trembles. My mind drifts to Derek's last text. We have the evidence. On the run. I cling to that faint lifeline. But with each moment of silence, my fear grows that something has happened to them. Marcus is broadcasting Trixa's crime to the world. He's unstoppable. My only recourse is the upcoming trial, the last stand for truth. A single tear slides down my cheek, splashing onto the page. Come on, Jacob, I whisper, voice raw. Pull it together. For Nyla. With trembling resolve, I bury myself in the draft answers, rewriting them again and again, shaping the narrative that might keep her out of prison. My father's study is silent except for the rustle of paper and the ragged tempo of my breath. Eventually, the night deepens and the overhead lamp dims. I remain there, elbows on the desk, half lost to the swirl of heartbreak and duty. We can't fail. If we do, Marcus wins. Trixa's on the run, Derek's in the crosshairs, and Nyla might lose everything, including our unborn child's future. The next few days are all or nothing. Gripping the pen, I scrawl possible ways to refute the new witness. But my mind keeps drifting. Derek, Trixa, where are you? The storm outside intensifies, rain lashing the windows. It matches the storm in my heart. No matter how many times I check my phone, it stays dark. No call from Derek, no text from Trixa, no miracle to rescue us, just the lonely gloom pressing in. And so I keep writing, keep reciting half-lies or carefully phrased truths, massaging every word. Because that's all that remains. Fighting in that courtroom, praying the real evidence arrives in time. The seeds of desperation take root, fueling me. Hold on, Nyla, I vow silently. I'll do everything in my power. Even if it means speaking about the most painful night of my life, enduring the public trial of my mother's voice message, the new phantom witness. I have to endure it for her sake. The pen digs into the paper, scrawling repeated lines as I practice an answer to Margaret's question. My tears dry, replaced by a numb determination. I will stand for Nyla. If Trixa and Derek can't come through, I'll still fight. But deep inside, a fragile hope flickers that they'll appear at the 11th hour, documents in hand, ready to blow Marcus's lies sky high. Until then, I keep writing, keep rehearsing, ignoring the hunger gnawing at my stomach and the ache in my soul. The lamp burns late into the night, casting my long shadow across the desk. The phone rests at my elbow, silent as a tomb while I whisper under my breath. Nyla is innocent. I believe in her innocence. Over and over, a mantra to steel my heart for the final battle looming in that courtroom, and for the next war that might come if the evidence never arrives.